Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video, doing JMA Friday for today's second video. So as always on a Friday, we're having a detailed look at weather for the month ahead with the Japanese and CFS V2 models. It's going to take us into the first half of June, so we're moving into the first half of meteorological summer 2020 with JMA Friday today. Of course, that's questionable, really. You can get summer weather well before June, and you can get summer weather well after August. Meteorological summer is the first day of June to the final day of August, but of course very often we get heat waves in September, and we can get them in May as well. But it's useful when we have when we come to sort of divvy up the statistics. Useful to have defined set periods, and so meteorological summer is the first day of June to the final day of August. This is taking us into the early part of the meteorological summer. Have a look at what the CFS and JMA are forecasting for the next 4 weeks in a moment. Just to say that we've released our European Outlook weather forecast week ahead for Europe, so have a look at that. It's on the news channel, not on gasweathers.com at the moment. We're just seeing how the new content goes down. So have a look at the European Outlook if you'd like to do that. And coming up later on today, we're going to have a 10-day video update, including all of regular features, of course. Right, so I'm going to start off with the 500 millibar high double flow charts from the North Pole view down. So we see the North Pole of the Northern Hemisphere just here. The mid-latitudes of the Northern Hemisphere are around there, of course, and this would be the wider Arctic Circle through here. Red, yellow and orange extrapolate to above average heights. Blue extrapolates to below average heights, which is low pressure, of course. Yellow, red and orange, high pressure. Blue, low pressure. These are broken down into weekly periods. The first week period is going to take us from the 15th through to 22nd of May. So the coming week has high pressure above average heights, high pressure dominating pretty much over the top of the country. There's a trough of below average heights out to our west and also to our northeast as well. Jet stream's doing something a little bit like that. So yes, it looks like we're in for quite a lot of dry weather in the week ahead. Plenty of high pressure to come, and temperatures should be warming up as well as winds turn into the south. Moving through to week 2, and this is the 22nd, 29th of May. Again, dominated by high pressure above average heights, extending as quite a large ridge from southwestern parts of Europe up into the northwest of Europe, and then going northwards into the North Atlantic. A trough of below average heights over western parts of Russia and northeast of Europe, and a trough of low pressure in the middle of the Atlantic. The jet stream doing something a little bit like that, places us on the warm side of the jet, and under the ridge of high pressure we will get a lot of dry, fine and potentially warm or even very warm weather in with that too. And then weeks 3 and 4 will be taking us from the 29th of May through to the 12th of June. So we're going into the first half of June with this update. A little bit different, so we've got some above average heights still to our south, some higher pressure there. Bit of a trough of low pressure over Scandinavia, and otherwise just what looks like a rather flat westerly. Just a rather flat westerly type flow. So you would expect quite a lot of dry weather to still be in with that, but it may, remember this is 2-week anomaly, so it could be a little bit transitional. It could be that this is beginning to turn just a little bit more unsettled, or hinting at turning a little bit more unsettled through the first sort of 10 days or so of June. But again, it is a 2-weekly anomaly, so you could have something like high pressure excuse me, still in control for week 3. And then you get through to week 4, and the high pressure weakens a little bit, starts to turn a bit more unsettled. Something like that could be going on, but it's certainly nothing overly dramatic. There's no signal for anything to be particularly unsettled even there. Just maybe hinting at being slightly more westerly and showery, perhaps at some point through the earlier part of June. So this is the tropical and mid-latitude view. So we can't see the North Pole and Arctic regions on this view. That's off the chart up here. Sort of Greenland, Iceland, Scandinavia, and then going further back up into the Arctic itself. That's off the chart. But of course, we just had a look at that view down, so we know what's going on from the Northern Hemisphere view down. So the British Isles in top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. A reminder of the week 1, 500 millibar high, dominating us from the 15th, 22nd of May. We're dominated by high pressure in the week ahead. High pressure is sitting very, very close to the country. Low pressure in the Atlantic, jet stream being pushed northwards as well. So we're under average of high pressure, bringing plenty of fine conditions. The temperature is above average in the weekend. It's going to be a milder than average week coming up by around 1 to 2 degrees. So actually quite a warm week on the way. After the cold temperatures of recent days, it's turning quite a lot warmer. Precipitation anomalies, a little bit wet average from the far northwest of the country. Otherwise, it's drier than average in most parts of the country, as you'd expect, of course, under an area of high pressure. Going through to week 2, which is the 22nd to the 29th of May. Again, high pressure is in control, stretching from the southwest to the northwest of Europe, and then going further northwards still. So under a big ridge of high pressure in the week in week 2. And also temperature anomalies remain above average again, 1 to 2 degrees above average. Quite a warm week coming up again. So warm second half to May on the way, and dry too, as you'd expect, with high pressure sitting over the country. It is drier than average. So that looks from the 22nd, 29th of May, that does look really quite dry indeed. And then we're into weeks 3 and 4, which takes us from the 29th of May to the 12th of June. Then we get the above average heights more towards our southwest, and possibly hint at bringing like a weakish sort of westerly flow back, but not with huge amount of conviction. Temperature is not quite as warm in this 2-weekly period, but still overall slightly above average. And it does hint at going just a little bit more unsettled, especially for more northern areas, just going slightly wetter than average up in the north. So it's a slow old process, but as we go through into June, we may see some hints there and something just a little bit more changeable, perhaps. But again, it's a 2-weekly anomaly, so it's a long way off, and could be that it doesn't actually turn unsettled until week 4, something like that, long way out. This is CFS V2, so see how the CFS compares. Again, 500 millibar heights, breaking down to week periods. The first week period takes us from 15th to 21st of May. The coming week, in agreement with the JMA, dominated by high pressure, the ridge is right in over top of the country, low pressure out to west and also to the northeast. Jet streams doing something like that. So again, we get lots of dry and fine conditions in week 1. Week 2 is the 22nd to 28th of May. Again, high pressure is well and truly in control of the weather, bringing loads of dry and fine, and you would have thought quite warm conditions also. Week 3 is going to be the 29th of May to 4th of June. The above average heights then just pulling a little bit away from us towards the northwest. It's not unsettled particularly, but perhaps just going a bit cooler and maybe a little bit more showery. But I mean, still high pressure is more or less in control. It isn't bad at all. I mean, again, just a few hints of a change, perhaps a week 4. This is the 5th to the 11th of June. Some above average heights, but a small area just to our south. Piece of the high pressure left to our south. But some lower pressure in the Atlantic. And again, just maybe a few hints of some sort of westerly flow type pattern returning. But, I mean, we are talking about week 4. It's a very, very long way out. And even that is not with much conviction. Temperature anomalies for week 1, the 15th to 21st of May, above average by around a degree or so. Yes, quite a warm week coming up. Week 2 is actually even warmer. This is the 22nd to 28th of May. By then, we're, again, probably a little bit over 1 degree above average. Week 3 also looks quite warm. This is the 29th of May to the 4th of June. That one is also above average. Week 4 is the 5th to the 11th of May. And that one is nearer normal then. It's nearer normal in week 4. So possibly goes a little bit cooler as we go into week 4. Finally, precipitation. So week 1, rainfall anomalies from CFS V2 from the 15th to 21st of May, drier than average for most parts of the country. You expect that, of course, high pressure in control. And week 2, which is 27th, 28th May, that one is also drier than average. So rest of May looks generally warm and dry, you have to say. Week 3 goes nearer normal. This is the 29th of May to 4th of June. Probably we're beginning to lose the signal a little bit. And then week 4 also is near normal again, 5th to the 11th of May. 15th of June, I should say. That one is nearer normal with rainfall. Again, we're probably losing the signal as we go further out, but could be an indication of things just going a little bit more unsettled, just a little bit more changeable as we get through to the early part of June. But again, this is all a very long way out, and in the more reliable time frames, like the second half of May, definitely anticyclonic influences looks like going to have lots of dry and warm weather through the rest of May, and then we get through to the early part of June, and possibly just a few hints of something a little bit more showery and a little bit more changeable perhaps through early June. But we're certainly not seeing any signs of like the June monsoon at this stage, which is like the return of westerlies. Cyclically, you do tend to get a return of westerlies and a little bit of an early summer deluge during June. There's no sign of that up to like the second week of June at the moment. So if it does sort of turn a little bit more change, but it will probably be just gently unsettled. And in the more reliable period, which is the rest of May, definitely looking mainly dry and quite warm at times. So not a bad outlook at all if you like warm and dry weather. Right, we'll be back later on with the third and final video for today. That will be your week to 10 day. The update with all of the regular features. Come back for that then. That's all for JMA Friday though for this week. Do it all over again next week, but that's all for now, and thanks for watching.